Buddy, holding eyes with you here, bringing you Dr. Stone manga review. This was chapter 103, titled "The Light of Hope and Despair." The Light of Despair and Hope. This was a very, very interesting chapter. Seems like things are gonna not be looking too good for Shiki and for Senku and his group. It looks like they're about to have a very tough time on their shoulders. They continue on their adventure. They got to Treasure Island, and while they're there, they didn't get off the ship to all go because Senku and Ryusei decided that it'd be best for a small group to go, so the natives of this land won't be like too hostile. But like, wait, why did y'all come in a big group? It doesn't look right. So they decided to just pick 4 people, and these 4 people will go search the land, see what the natives are like, and see if they can find the treasure and they can get it off them and stuff like that to make the infinite elixir to save stone people. So the 4 people who got chosen was Suya, who naturally comes from here, the new character we got introduced to 2 chapters ago, Kohaku, Senku himself, and again, my boy. Those 4 got sent off. And I noticed throughout the chapter, little quick little panels, that before they got here, we had Yuko on the sonar, and he's have a shocked face. Then when they get here, he has another face that's shocked, like he's seeing or hearing something that's bothering him, but he's not speaking up. And as the 4 people left the ship to, search the island, it was brought to Yuko's attention that there are actually people turned to stone under the water. Cause Ginro and Jinro, when they was talking on top of the boat, Ginro decided, I want to take a swim. Since there's nothing else to do and we're done chores, and when he was swam under, he noticed all this. So he told everybody up top. And Yuko decided to say something that was very unique. He was like, the time zone doesn't make sense. Everybody was technically frozen on the earth at the same time a couple years back on top. But at that time zone, this land shouldn't have been inhabited. So there should be no people here on top or under that are turned to stone. And the instant he started saying this and he told everybody, Ryusuke noticed that there was somebody behind them looking and watching, and he turned and looked at him, but the guy quickly dipped, whoever that person was. But then later on in the chapter, we get Senku's group trying to call them, but no one's picking up and the reception's bad. So Suya decided to take telescope and look, and when he looked, he freaked out. So I believe it was either Kohaku or Gen, one of them, took it from him and to see what happened. Everybody on the ship was turned to stone. But there's a couple of interesting shots that prove that even though they were all turned to stone, it looked like there was a struggle going on at first. You have my boy Yuko, he has his archery out because he's an archer, and he has the arrow out and he's like this. So if the bow's in front of him and he's like this, but there's no arrow in between him and the bow, that indicates that he took a shot at something or someone, which proves that this must have been a fight here. And the little girl with the helmet, which I always forget her name, Karatsu, I think her name is. I'm probably saying it wrong. I always forget her name. But the little girl that she goes out to, search and stuff, and she's a scavenger of the group, and she always has that lattice helmet on. She was actually saved on the ship because Ryusei actually kicked her off. So, it showed that he is a nice person. He did cares about the kids. But the sad thing about it is that if you look at the panel where he's on the floor petrified, his left arm is like this, blocking something. But you see his right arm, it looks like he's in crumbles. Like, we don't get to see the right arm, but we do get to see crumbles of dust and debris on the floor. So a lot of us are assuming that whoever he was fighting, when he got turned to stone, they probably kicked him over and his arm shattered when it hit the floor. So if he becomes unstone again, he's most likely not going to have an arm. His right arm will probably be no useful. Unless Senku does something to repair it when it's a stone form first, like Yuso did a couple of chapters back, and then they bring him back from stone to human. But that's just my interpretation of what might happen there. So And she goes to them and she finds them easily, and she starts crying. She explains to them, we were attacked and I was safe thanks to him kicking me off. And Kohako, she ran off, and Senku was like, "What are you doing running off on your own?" And she's like, "I find this shiny shell that wasn't here before. This must be from the culprit. If we can find out how to track them down with this, it would be good to find them and talk to them." So we get the end of the chapter where Senku is like, "I got this," and he has like a telescope thing the doctors use, so he's gonna use that to, I guess, trace down whatever imprints he can find. But that was basically the end of the chapter. This was a very interesting and impressive chapter. Again, I feel bad for Yuko and Yusei. Yusei, he probably won't have a right arm no more. And Yuko, even though he doesn't look damaged, but he still turns to stone, and everybody else on the ship is turned to stone. Kaze, Ginro, Jinro, Yuza, Taiju, all these people, the prisoners on the bottom, they were all turned to stone. Which brings up the question and implies, if they were all turned to stone, does that mean that the natives of this country had found a way to use the light ray and petrify people? So they're using it as a weapon now? Or maybe this island is cursed, and every couple of seasons or minutes, maybe a different section of the island, people or living things that are there get turned to stone. That could also be another case, but kind of doubt it, because like I said, it looked like Yuko took a shot because of where his position was. So, and we also know, if we look at everyone else's position, some of them had weapons out, like they were about to fight somebody. So most likely somebody did attack the ship. So, but the reason is why, like what's the reason behind it? Who would attack them when they wasn't doing nothing? Maybe the natives saw them as a threat because there was a whole bunch on a ship, so they took the initiative first. Maybe they just got scared and were like, before these people are attacked, let's attack them. Or the people of these nations, like I said in my last review, are they hostile people? How Shishio and his people were. Maybe something like that, but with not just being hostile with intent to kill, but maybe they also have science on their side as well. Because we have to assume that Shiki and his group are not the only ones with science. Because someone else did send an SOS earlier to them, and their little small ship. And for you to send out an SOS, you must have the technology and the knowledge for that. Which proves that there probably is other people, or at least one other person in this world that's alive, like Senku and his people, that know science. But that's the beauty of this manga, is like, they're living in a world where they technically have to restart everything all over. They don't have all the science stuff that we have today. So, but this was a great chapter, great stuff. Please tell me down below your thoughts in the comments and opinions. Tell me what you think is going on. Like, comment, share, and share the video with your family and friends. Give this video a like. Follow me on Twitter, link will be down below. That's all I have for you guys. Peace out, have a good one.